Welcome to my little corner of the internet, where we celebrate creativity and growth. Welcome aboard, as we set sail on a journey through 2014 Tour de France. The 2014 Tour de France was the 101st edition of the race, one of cycling's grand tours. The 3,660.5 kilometers race included 21 stages, starting in Leeds, Yorkshire, United Kingdom, on 5 July and finishing on the Champs-Élysées in Paris on 27 July. The race also visited Belgium for part of a stage. Vincenzo Nibali of the team won the overall general classification by more than 7 minutes, the biggest winning margin since 1997. By winning, he had acquired victories in all Grand Tours. Jean-Christophe Péraud placed second, with Thibaut Pinot third. Marcel Kittel was the first rider to wear the general classification leader's yellow jersey after winning Stage 1. He lost the following day to stage winner Nibali as the race reached the mountains. Nibali held the race lead until the end of the 9th stage, when it was taken by Tony Gallopin. The yellow jersey returned to Nibali the following stage, and he held it until the conclusion of the race. The points classification was decided early in the race and was won by Peter Sagan. Rofimikov, winner of 2 mountain stages, won the mountains classification. Pinot finished as the best young rider. The team classification was won by, and Alessandro De Marchi was given the award for the most combative rider. Kittel and Nibali won the most stages, with 4 each. Following criticism by the professional women's peloton and campaign groups like Le Tour Entier regarding the lack of a women's Tour de France, a one-day women's race la course by Le Tour de France was held on the Champs-Élysées prior to the last stage of the tour. Moving ahead, let's uncover the hidden gems within teams and discover their significance. 22 teams participated in the 2014 edition of the Tour de France. The race was the 18th of the 29 events in the UCI World Tour, and all of its Team UCI Pro teams were automatically invited and obliged to attend the race. On 14 January 2015, the organizer of the Tour, Amaury Sport Organisation ASO, announced the 4 second-tier UCI professional continental teams given wildcard invitations. And the team presentation, where the members of each team's roster are introduced in front of the media and local dignitaries, took place at the First Direct Arena in Leeds, United Kingdom, on 3 July, 2 days before the opening stage held in the city. The riders arrived at the arena by a ceremonial ride from the University of Leeds. The event included performances from Embrace and Opera North, in front of an audience of 10,000. Each squad was allowed a maximum of 9 riders, therefore the start list contained a total of 198 riders. Of these, 47 were riding the Tour de France for the first time. The riders came from 34 countries: France, Spain, Italy, Netherlands, Germany, Australia and Belgium all had 10 or more riders in the race. SG Cheng was the first Chinese rider to participate in the tour. Riders from 8 countries won stages during the race. German riders won the largest number of stages, with 7. The average age of riders in the race was 29.88 years, ranging from the 20-year-old Danny van Poppel to the 42-year-old Jens Voigt, both riders. Voigt, riding in his final year as a professional, equalled Stuart O'Grady's record for most appearances in the Tour with 17. Had the highest average age, while had the lowest. The teams entering the race were: with our foundation established, it's time to explore pre-race favorites and its relevance to our overarching theme. According to many observers before the race, the top 2 favorites for the general classification were Chris Froome and Alberto Contador. Their closest rivals were thought to have been Vincenzo Nibali and Alejandro Valverde. A possible contender was the 2013 Tour runner-up, Nairo Quintana, who had chosen not to ride the Tour after his 2014 Giro d'Italia win that took place during May. Andy Schleck, who was retroactively awarded the 2010 Tour title, was selected by his team as a domestic and was not considered a possible favourite. The other riders considered contenders for the general classification were Andrew Tolinsky, Rue Costa, Thibaut Pinot, TJ van Garderen, Jurgen van den Broek. Defending champion and runner-up in the 2012 Tour, Froome had shown his form so far in the 2014 season by winning the general classification of two-stage races, the Tour of Oman and the Tour de Romandie. Contador, winner of the 2007 and 2009 Tours, also won two-stage races, the Tirreno Adriatico and the Tour of the Basque Country in the lead-up to the Tour, placing second overall in the Volta a Algarve, Volta a Catalunya and Critérium du Dauphiné. Nibali had missed the 2013 Tour as he had focused on the 2013 Giro, which he won. His highest Tour result was third in 2012. His best results so far in the 2014 season were 5th in the Tour de Romandie and 7th in the Dauphiné. Valverde, who placed 8th in the 2013 Tour and won the 2009 Vuelta a España, had a number of wins in the 2014 season prior to the Tour, most notably the Vuelta a Andalúzia stage race and the Lofoten one-day race. The sprinters considered favourites for the points classification and wins on the flat or hilly bunch sprint finishes were Peter Sagan, Mark Cavendish, and Greipel, Alexander Kristoff, and riders Marcel Kittel and John Degenkolb. Winner of the points classification in the two previous Tours, Sagan had won the Heralbic one-day race and won the points classifications in three-stage races, the Tirreno Adriatico, the Tour of California and the Tour de Suisse, during the 2014 season up until the Tour. Cavendish, who won the points classification in 2011, had 9 wins so far in the season and had the full backing of his team. Greipel had amassed a total of 12 wins during the season prior to the Tour, but his team would have to share support for him and Van den Broek. Kristoff had won the Milan-San Remo and was considered a dark horse for the points classification. Kittel was seen as a top contender for the bunch sprints, as he won the most stages in the 2013 Tour, a total of 4. He had amassed 7 wins so far in the season, 2 of which were in the Giro. It was thought that Degenkolb would be used by for the more challenging sprints. His major results of the season were first place in Gent-Wevelgem, Belgium and second place in Paris-Roubaix, both one-day races. Prepare yourself for an eye-opening discussion on route and stages in the upcoming portion of this video. On 14 December 2012, the ASO announced that the English historic county of Yorkshire would host the 2014 edition's early stages known as the Grand Depart. Further details of the first 3 stages held in the United Kingdom were released on 17 January 2013. This was the 4th tour to contain stages in the United Kingdom, after 1974, 1994 and 2007. The entire route was announced by the ASO on 23 October 2013 at the official presentation at the Palais de Congrès in Paris. At the event, Stephen Roche, winner of the 1987 Tour, described the route as fairly soft. Notable features of the route were the 5th stage's sections of set paving, the 5 high-altitude stage finishes and the lack time trialling, with only stage 20's 54 km individual time trial. The first of the 2 stages held in Yorkshire started in Leeds and finished in Harrogate, with stage 2 held between York and Sheffield. After a transfer to the East Anglian city of Cambridge, the race went south to the finish in London. The Tour transferred across the English Channel to the start of Stage 4 L'Attaquet Paris-Plage, with the finish in Lille. Stage 5 began in Ypres, Belgium, and finished back in France. The following 3 stages crossed the northeast to the Vosges Mountains for stages 9 and 10. The 11th stage took place between Bessenay and Oyonnax through the Jura Mountains. Stage 12 headed west to Saint-Étienne, with the next stage moving back east into the Chartreuse Mountains, with the finish at the Alpine ski resort of Chamraus. The 14th stage ended in the town of Rissol. The following stage took the race south to Nice. After a transfer to Carcassonne, the route moved into the Pyrenees for the next 2 stages. The 19th stage took a northerly direction to the department of Dordogne and the location of stage 20. A long transfer took the Tour back to the northeast to finish with the Champs-Élysées stage in Paris. There were 21 stages in the race, covering a total distance of 3,660.5 kilometers. The longest mass start stage was the 7th at 234.5 km, and stage 17 was the shortest at 124.5 kilometers. 9 stages were officially classified as flat, 5 as medium mountain and 6 as high mountain. Stage 5, although classified as medium mountain, was flat with set paving sections. There were 5 summit finishes: Stage 10 to La Planche de Belles Filles, Stage 13 to Champs, Stage 14 to Risol, Stage 17 to Saint-Lary-Plod-Zedit, and Stage 18 to Hautecombe. The highest point of elevation in the race was the 2360 m Heikel-Zizard mountain pass on Stage 14. It was among 6 or category English, beyond category rated climbs in the race. There were 9 new stage start or finish locations. The rest days were after Stage 10 in the Bessenen and after 15 in Carcassonne. Stage date course distance type winner 1-5 July Leeds to Harrogate United Kingdom 190.5 kilometers flat. Stage 2-6 July York to Sheffield United Kingdom 201 kilometers medium mountain. Stage 3-7 July Cambridge to London United Kingdom 155 kilometers flat. Stage 4-8 July Le Touquet Paris Plage to Lille Metropole 163.5 kilometers flat. Stage 5-9 July Ypres Belgium to Arenberg Port du Hainaut 152.5 kilometers medium mountain. Stage 6-10 July Arras to Reims 194 kilometers flat. Stage 7-11 July Epernay to Nancy 234.5 kilometers flat. Stage 8-12 July Tomblaine to Grosbois-Lommesolaine 161 kilometers medium mountain. Stage 9-13 July Grosbois to Mulhouse 170 kilometers medium mountain. Stage 10-14 July Mulhouse to La Planche de Belles Filles 161.5 kilometers high mountain. Stage 15 July Bessenen rest day 11-16 July Bessenen to Oyonnax 187.5 kilometers medium mountain. Stage 12-17 July Bourg-en-Bresse to Saint-Étienne 185.5 kilometers flat. Stage 13-18 July Saint-Étienne to Champs 197.5 kilometers high mountain. Stage 14-19 July Grenoble to Risol 177 kilometers high mountain. Stage 15-20 July Talid to Nice 222 kilometers flat. Stage 21 July Carcassonne rest day 16-22 July Carcassonne to Bad Mies-de-Lucken 237.5 kilometers high mountain. Stage 17-23 July Saint Gaudens to Saint-Lary-Plod-Zedit 124.5 kilometers high mountain. Stage 18-24 July Pau to Hautecombe 145.5 kilometers high mountain. Stage 19-25 July Morbegut Pays du Val d'Arbour to Bergerac 208.5 kilometers flat. Stage 20-26 July Bergerac to Paragu 54 kilometers individual time trial. 21-27 July Ivry to Paris Champs-Élysées 137.5 kilometers flat. Stage total 3,660.5 kilometers. Stage characteristics and winners. As we enter this new chapter, let's navigate the complexities of opening week and Vosges and unravel its multifaceted nature. The first stage's bunch sprint finish was won by Marcel Kittel. A crash in the sprint caused Mark Cavendish, a favourite for the win, to fall. He did not start stage 2. Kittel gained the race leader's yellow jersey and the green jersey as the leader of the points classification, with Jens Voigt taking the polka dot jersey as the leader of the mountains classification. In the following stage, like Inter Mini Liège-Bastogne-Liège, Vincenzo Nibali took the stage win and yellow jersey, attacking on Sheffield's hilly terrain with 2 kilometers remaining. Peter Sagan took the green jersey and Cyril Lemoine took the polka dot jersey. Stages 3 and 4, finishing in London and Lille respectively, ended in bunch sprints and were both won by Kittel. Crashes in stages 4 and 5 forced pre-race favourite Chris Froome to abandon the race. His injuries were later revealed to be fractures to his left wrist and right hand. The weather was wet throughout the fifth stage, with the set paving causing many crashes although not Froome's. The fractured ending was won by an attack in the final 5 kilometers by Lars Boumov. Nibali, who placed third, extended his overall lead over his rivals, with Alberto Contador 2:37s down. And Greipel won Stage 6's bunch sprint in Reims. Another bunch sprint took place at the end of the next stage, with the hilly finish decided by a photo finish between Sagan and the winner Matteo Trentin. Stage 8, the first at altitude, was taken by Esbal Kadri, who attacked from a breakaway group with 25 kilometers to go. He managed to hold his lead over the chasing group of overall favorites, who came in over 2 minutes behind. His win put Kadri into the polka dot jersey. Another solo victory came the following day, when Tony Martinov dropped fellow breakaway rider Alessandro De Marchi with 60 kilometers remaining. A large group that formed in pursuit of the duo finished 2:45s behind, with the unconcerned general classification contenders coming together in at 7:46s down. The yellow jersey went to a rider from the first group, as Tony Gallopin. Martin now led the mountains classification. Stage 10 was the Tour's first high mountain stage. On the final climb to the finish at La Planche des Belles Filles, Nibali attacked from the group of overall contenders with 3 kilometers remaining, past 2 surviving riders from the day's early breakaway, and claimed his second stage win, which put him back in the yellow jersey. Joaquim Rodriguez, one of the 2 breakaway riders, took the polka dot jersey. Contador crashed during the descent of the Petit Ballon, 95 kilometers into the stage, forcing him to quit the race. It was later revealed that he had fractured his right tibia. The next day was the first rest day of the Tour. Now, let's dig deeper into Jura and Alps and unveil the hidden treasures it holds within. Stage 11's rolling terrain resulted in a final peloton that included mainly punchers. Gallopin won the stage after an attack 13 kilometers from the finish in Oyonnax split the peloton, and a second with 2.7 kilometers remaining that successfully held off the chasers. The 12th stage was won by Alexander Kristoff from a bunch sprint. Nibali took the stage win the following stage, making his move from the leading group in the final 3 kilometers on the Orcacori climb to Chamraus. He extended his lead over the second-placed overall rider Alejandro Valverde to 3:37s Richie Porte, who was second overall before the stage and the new leader of, lost around 9 minutes and dropped to 16th. Nibali took the lead of the mountains classification. In stage 14, Rafa Majka attacked from a reduced breakaway on the climb to the finish in Rousseau with 10 kilometers remaining and managed to hold off chasing the group of overall favorites and soloed to victory. Nibali, second in the stage, extended his lead further by 1 minute as Valverde lost time and Rodriguez regained the polka dot jersey. Kristoff won the bunch sprint in the transitional stage 15. In the first of the 3 stages in the Pyrenees, the 16th, a breakaway group of 21 riders formed 75 kilometers inch. The group reduced to 5 after the final climb, the Orcacori Porte de Beauce, with 21 kilometers remaining, out of which came the winner, Michael Rogersov, who attacked 3 kilometers from finish in Bagnes de Lucan. The group of general classification favorites came in over 8 minutes down. Majka led the mountains classification. The Tour's Queen Stage, the 17th, featured 3 first-category climbs and the Orcacori climb to the finish at Saint-Léry-Plod-Sadet. An early 9-strong breakaway was pulled back before the first climb by for their rider Rodriguez to take the mountains classification points and the temporary lead of the competition. This led to the formation of a large lead group which gradually split across the middle climbs. Rodriguez and Majka led the lead group race over the penultimate climb, with the former first. On the final climb, a group of 4 that had escaped were caught by Majka, who had dropped Rodriguez, and he soloed to claim his second stage win and the large number of points for the summit finish. Nibali had split apart the group of chasing overall favorites and came in third. Second-placed overall Valverde lost a minute to Thibaut Pinot in third. As we progress, let's zoom in on Péraud's and finale and examine its role in shaping our overall narrative. The Tour's final mountain stage, the 18th, saw Nibali take his fourth victory of the race at Hautacombe. His stage-winning move came 9 kilometers from the finish, on the climb to Hautacombe. He finished 1 minute 10s ahead of a group which were 4 of his nearest general classification rivals, with the exception of Valverde, who lost further time and dropped to 4th overall, displaced by Thibaut Pinot and Jean-Christophe Péraud, respectively. Michael finished 3rd in the stage and secured the mountains classification. In stage 19, Ramón's Novodiscus attacked a peloton fractured by rain 13 kilometers from the finish to win the stage. Martin claimed his second stage of the Tour in the penultimate stage's individual time trial. His time of 6 minute 21s over the 54 kilometers course was 1 minute 39s faster than second-placed Tom Dumoulin. Nibali finished 4th, increasing his advantage. In the final stage, Kittel secured a second successive victory on the Champs-Élysées in Paris, his 4th stage win of the race. Nibali finished the race to win the general classification by a margin of 7 minute 39s, the largest winning margin since Jan Ullrich in the 1997 Tour. Second and third respectively were Péraud and Pinot, with the latter 8 minute 15s down on Nibali. The points classification was won by Sagan with 431 points. Christophe came second with 282 points. Micah finished with 181 points in the mountains classification, 13 ahead of second-placed Nibali. Pinot was the best young rider, with Romain Bardet second. The team classification was won by 34 minute 46s ahead of second-placed. Of the 198 starters, 164 reached the finish of the last stage in Paris. Let's now turn our attention to classification leadership and minor prizes and uncover the fascinating insights it brings to the table. There were 4 main individual classifications contested in the 2014 Tour de France, as well as a team competition. The most important was the general classification, which was calculated by adding each rider's finishing times on each stage. There were no time bonuses given at the end of stages for this edition of the Tour. If a crash had happened within the final 3 kilometers of a stage, not including the time trial and summit finishes, the riders involved would have received the same time as the group they were in when the crash occurred. The rider with the lowest cumulative time was the winner of the general classification and was considered the overall winner of the Tour. The rider leading the classification wore a yellow jersey. Type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, flat stage 45, 35, 30, 26, 22, 20, 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, 6 for medium mountain stage 30, 25, 22, 19, 17, 15, 13, 11, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 high mountain stage 20, 17, 15, 13, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 2 individual time trial intermediate sprint. Points classification points for the top 15 positions by type. The second classification was the points classification. Riders received points for finishing among the highest placed in a stage finish, or in intermediate sprints during the stage. The points available for each stage finish were determined by the stage's type. The leader was identified by a green jersey. The third classification was the mountains classification. Points were awarded to the riders that reached the summit of the most difficult climbs first. The climbs were categorized as 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st category and all category, with the more difficult climbs rated lower. Double points were awarded on the summit finishes on stages 10, 13, 14, 17 and 18. The leader wore a white jersey with red polka dots. The final individual classification was the young rider classification. This was calculated the same way as the general classification, but the classification was restricted to riders who were born on or after 1 January 1989. The leader wore a white jersey. The final classification was a team classification. This was calculated using the finishing times of the best 3 riders per team on each stage. The leading team was the team with the lowest cumulative time. The number of stage victories and placings per team determined the outcome of a tie. The riders in the team that led this classification were identified with yellow number bibs on the back of their jerseys and yellow helmets. In addition, there was a combativity award given after each stage to the rider considered by a jury to have made the greatest effort and who has demonstrated the best qualities of sportsmanship. No combativity awards were given for the time trial and the final stage. The winner wore a red number bib the following stage. At the conclusion of the tour, Alessandro De Marchi won the overall Super Combativity Award, again decided by a jury. A total of €2,035,000 was awarded in cash prizes in the race. The overall winner of the general classification received €450,000, with the second and third placed riders got €200,000 and €100,000 respectively. All finishers of the race were awarded with money. The holders of the classifications benefited on each stage they led. The final winners of the points and mountains were given €25,000, while the best young rider and most combative rider got €20,000. The winners of the team classification received €50,000. There were also 2 special awards, each with a prize of €5,000. The Souvenir Henri Disrange, given to first rider to pass the summit of the highest climb in the Tour, the Col d'Izard in stage 14, and the Souvenir Jacques Goddet, given to the first rider to pass Goddet's memorial at the summit of the Col du Tourmalet in stage 18. Joaquim Rodriguez won the Henri Disrange and Paul Kadri won the Jacques Goddet. Classification leadership by stage in stage 2, Brian Caquard, who was third in the points classification, wore the green jersey, because Marcel Kittel in first place wore the yellow jersey as leader of the general classification, and Peter Sagan in second place wore the white jersey as leader of the young rider classification during that stage. In stages 3 5, Romain Bardet, who was second in the young rider classification, wore the white jersey, because Peter Sagan in first place wore the green jersey as leader of the points classification. Additionally, in stages 6 to 7, Mika Kwiatkowski wore the white jersey for the same reason. In stage 14, Joaquim Rodriguez, who was second in the mountains classification, wore the polka dot jersey, because Vincenzo Nibali in first place wore the yellow jersey as leader of the general classification. In the upcoming section, we'll be shining a light on general classification. Final general classification. Final general classification: rank 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, 125, 126, 127, 128, 129, 130, 131, 132, 133, 134, 135, 136, 137, 138, 138, 139, 140, 141, 142, 143, 144, 145, 146, 147, 148, 149, 150, 151, 152, 153, 154, 155, 156, 157, 158, 159, 160, 161, 162, 163, 164. As we enter this new phase, let's navigate the complexities of points classification and discover its practical applications. Final points classification. Get ready for a captivating exploration as we unravel the layers of mountains classification and their profound significance. Final mountains classification. In this section, we'll be shedding light on young rider classification and its impact on our understanding of the subject. Final young rider classification. With the groundwork laid, let's now examine team classification and its connections to our previous discussions. Final team classification. As we progress through this video, let's now turn our gaze towards UCI World Tour rankings. Riders from the Pro Teams competing individually, as well as for their teams and nations, for points that contributed towards the World Tour rankings. Points were awarded to the top 20 finishers in the general classification and to the top 5 finishers in each stage. The 200 points accrued by Vincenzo Nibali moved him from 40th position to 2nd in the individual ranking. Retained their lead of the team ranking, ahead of 2nd placed. Spain remained as leaders of the nation ranking, with Italy 2nd. UCI World Tour individual ranking on 27 July 2014. I love interacting with my viewers, so leave me a comment and I'll do my best to respond.